Hello, this is J.N.S. and I want to talk to you guys today about this topic of what an IPU is, as well as the idea of an ascended master, and this concept of messiahs. Like, are there messiahs today? Are they here? Are they coming back? Do we need them? So we're just going to have a philosophical and not necessarily an ontological talk, but more so philosophical about the Messiah complex, Savior complex, as well as the idea of an IPU and ascended masters, and even the opposite of that, negative archons. We'll talk about that as well. But let's talk about what an IPU is. So an IPU is an ideal parallel universe, and it stems from the idea that every mind is a universe, and so forth, and therefore capable through their own narratives and their own thought processes, capable of building an ideal parallel universe of their own making. That is something that they would like to enjoy based off of their laws, their universal laws, their tenets, their values, their ideas of goodness, their ideas of wellness, their ideas of well-being. An individual person, an individual entity, an individual egregore can create and mold an IPU. The IPU that they want to live in. So it's the concept of everybody creates their own reality, right? But it's a bit deeper because I want to expound on that, because there's many IPUs, right? And the biggest way to understand an IPU is to look at it as a school of thought, because the IPU is created through your consciousness and through, obviously, your intention, your consciousness, and through your manifestation capabilities. And so what happens is everybody is capable of having an IPU, an ideal parallel universe. What happens is that many humans get distracted from creating their own IPU. There are many competing algorithms. There's a lot of latency, okay, that prevents people from creating an IPU. And then some people are too lazy to create their IPU, so they go and live in someone else's IPU. No judgment on that. I'm just saying that's what it is. But for those who are aware that they can create an IPU, that's a very powerful thought to know. Like, it doesn't matter if you pretty much, even if you don't know how to create it at this moment, or that you're not fully, if you don't have all of the tools, all the techniques, just the idea of knowing I can create my own IPU, my own ideal parallel universe based on my own universal laws, my own philosophies, my own inertia, my own collective, my own consciousness. And when other people see that as an example of me living in my own IPU, my own, some people will call that narrative, some people will call that reality. Other people will see that example, they would copy, they would look at the techniques and tools to see how that person is doing it, or they may go and live in their IPU. If the person, is such a master at creating an IPU, they can very well create someone else's IPU. Talk about mind control and MK Ultra. And so, again, just the idea of a human coming into the realization that I can create my own IPU. And it don't matter how long it's going to take them. It don't matter if they know how to do it. Just them knowing that puts them so much ahead in the driver's seat of their own fucking life. Okay, they solve about a good 50% of their damn problems just knowing that. Now they just got to figure out how to put that key in that bitch and fly their mothership and fly that ship, steer that ship. They in the driver's seat. They just got to figure out how to reduce latency, right? I want to use a different example, because the ship is kind of more of the level of creating becoming a chief architect or becoming more galactic. So I'm going to scale back and just use the video game reference from when I'm talking about IPU for planet Earth, because that makes it more grounded for the average human to understand. And so imagine, you have this video game, and I put this system latency terminology picture up there. I hope you guys can see it. This input, CPU, render queue, GPU, display. Okay, and so we're going to use video game analogy for IPU. You can use mothership for those more advanced, more into the chief architect energy. Those that are more galactic and that understand a bit more, you can take it outside of the video game, the reference. But what happens when someone at least knows, okay, I know I can create my own IPU. How do I do that? How do I get there? First thing is that you need to reduce latency. Okay, and so latency is delay before transfer of data begins following an instruction for its transfer. Okay, it's a time delay between the cause and effect of some physical change in a system being observed. Latency. So when I talk about latency, for the human, we're talking about the delay in the transfer of data from the prime conscious mind to the conscious mind, which you guys call subconscious. I call autoconscious prime conscious. Humans call it subconscious, conscious, superconscious, and all this stuff. But to me, I take things up instead of necessarily beneath. And so my prime conscious is connected to my autoconscious, which is connected to the higher self. So I wouldn't label that subconscious, because it's not beneath, and I'm not unaware of it. Because once you realize that you can create your own IPU, you immediately develop awareness of the fact that you need to be aware of what goes in the prime conscious mind. By definition, that's not subconscious. You realize you have to program this, what you guys call a subconscious mind. You have to program it. You have to reduce the latency between prime conscious. Remember, you guys call that subconscious, but I'm just calling it prime conscious. That's all you need to know. Prime conscious, and the latency between that and your conscious. And that you need to figure out a way to reduce the latency of that. It means that you have to delay. You have to reduce that delay of that transfer of data before following an instruction for its transfer. Okay, and so how do we do that? Once you understand, okay, I can create this IPU by programming this prime conscious mind with my brain horns, which is your video game controller. Remember? So, like, you guys know when you play a video game, there's latency in the video game, and you guys get mad, and it's lagging. Oh, fuck, oh my gosh. It's the same thing with your fucking brain. I swear it is. Especially if you're young and you're listening to this. I don't think a young adult would, but if you happen to ever come across this, for the teenagers, you guys know when you play a video game, there's lag. And for the brain, your brain horns, and I'll show you the brain horns again, which we covered earlier in another video, but I'll show you them again. Your brain horns connect your emotional body and the part of your mind that's logical. You master your emotions, master your mind through the brain horns, which is going to help you activate your pineal gland through these brain horns right here. Let me see. Share this tab instead. Go here. And this is your video game controller. The brain horns right there. And as you're playing that video game, you're really not so much playing it. You're going to program that video game. So it's a little bit different, because when you play the video game, you buy the program, you buy the game, and then you go and put it inside of the device, the hardware, and then you play it. Now, so when it comes to your brain, it's a bit different. You have to create the video game. You have to program the video game. And you do that through the prime conscious. You can also do that through connecting it to the auto-conscious, but we won't go there in this video because that'd be a little too complex. For now, we're going to stick with the prime how do you reduce latency by connecting the prime conscious to the conscious mind. Because the conscious mind is what's going to affect your reality. That is the things that you are very much aware of. That can be your persona, your status, the actions that you take, your occupation, your current reality in terms of a location. All of that plays out in the conscious. But what programs that is your prime conscious. Okay, what you guys call subconscious. That prime conscious is what determines 95% of what is going to play out in your reality, in your conscious mind. And so you have to program that intuitive level and that emotional level. The subconscious is just the area, and the prime conscious is the area of the intuition. The part that's connected to your higher self, the part that's connected to the collective consciousness, and the seed of godliness within you. It's connected to that. It's connected to the emotional body. And so what happens when we're reducing latency, let me show you this so you can understand this a little bit better. Let's see, I want to find a good picture to show you. Where it's something simple, not so convoluted. Maybe this one, but I kind of want to show you guys with a body. Let me see, let me start sharing this tab so you can see what I'm looking at. I want to talk about the 5 sheets, the 5 layers of the human body, but I want to show like a picture of the body where you can see it and not so much constitutions of the 5 shifts. Let me see if this one is good. That's too blurry. Too blurry. Let me see this one. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Kosha. Nope, too small. Maybe we'll just keep it simple and just go with something like this. Okay, so you have the self, you have the Atman. So here, this is a little advanced for what I'm trying to get at today, but the 5 sheaths of the emotional, of the body. For this one, we're talking about prime conscious. But prime conscious is that level of the emotional aspect of what this would be. And so for here, you have food body, the mental body, the energy body, wisdom body, bliss body. So they kind of, I'm going to go here. Here we go. Here, this is a better one for us. So this is still the 5 sheaths, but they just have different, just have different terms. And so right here you see this we want to program where the prime conscious is at, is the mind level. Mind and energy, give or take. It's mind or energy. But really, I wish this was titled emotions. And I think there is some that does have where it says emotional body. There are some sheets that call this the emotional body. Some sheep school of thoughts. I'm trying to look for one that calls it the emotional body instead of energy and mind. But anyways, that is the prime conscious part that we're connecting to the conscious mind, which would be, this level, this would be the body. We're not at the discernment and bliss level yet. Discernment is also sometimes interchangeable with wisdom. I mean, you may be there, but I'm talking about for those that's just trying to connect those two to reduce that latency. So I think we got that. And so through those brain horns, that is your video game. How do you program it? Pretty much with being very aware of the content that you put in your mind. Once you understand that you create your IPU, you're aware of the content that you put content consciously in your mind with intention. Now you're off to the finish race. You're off to the start. Now you just have to decide what is that content you're going to put in that prime conscious mind. What are you going to look at? What are you going to read? What are you going to practice? What are you going to believe? What are you going to question? What are you going to watch? What are you going to engage in? Who are you going to talk to? Who are you going to have sex with? All of those come into play in terms of how you program that prime conscious mind. But all of those actions, all of that content, all of that V2 should align absolutely with what you want that IPU to be. So the first step is, okay, what do you want your IPU to look like? And you do that by just coming up with this large overarching IPU, this large thing that you want to see manifest in your life. Something that it can be something minor, something kind of just so unbelievable it kind of scares you, like, oh my gosh, can I really do that? Can I really do that? It can be that, for sure, because after you do that, you're going to start working towards ideal frames. So you have this ideal parallel universe, but now you have to do your ideal next frame. What is your ideal next scene? You can look at it as because you're programming, you're making a video game. You have to start to program them scenes. What kind of scenes do you want to see? And they could be small, but you gotta program them scenes, and that is where we get the content from. That is where you start to question, okay, what am I looking at? Is it going to lead me to that IPU? What do I need to read? What do I need to look at? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Meditation? Do I need to practice? Do I need to practice something or not? Do I need to go into ritual? But those are the content. Those are the things that are going to help you build that ideal next frame or ideal next scene. Also, with that ideal next scene, you can visualize. You can actually start to play out that ideal scene, like levels, like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6 in a video game, right? You can you don't have to do pretty much nothing, as long as you're just thinking about that shit. And obviously through your action, you start to align with what you're thinking too. Whatever you visualizing within that next ideal scene. An ideal next scene is like a mini small goal, or a mini something small, something that you know that's like within the next 3 months, within the next 6 months, something that you know you can complete within the next 3 months, that you can see yourself. And that's the ideal next scene that's going to play out in your reality, that's going to get you to a larger IPU, the larger ideal parallel universe. And so visualization of the ideal next scene is very powerful, very powerful. But if you want to, be, fast speed, like really reduce that latency, that's when you want to get into more intentional aspects of action to back the ideal next scene that plays a role, that serves as a level in that video game that you're playing. And remember, the video controller is your brain horns. Your reality is the actual game. Okay? And you're reducing the latency in the video game from the prime conscious mind to the conscious mind via development of the ideal next scenes through visualization, intentionality, and programming that prime conscious mind with content that you want to see manifest in the conscious in a very much aware state. Self-awareness is key here. Self-awareness is what's going to reduce that lag, that latency. Once you reduce that latency, things manifest faster. The ideal parallel universe transforms a lot quicker. Also, people cannot push their IPU on you. People won't control your IPU. Okay? And so let's look at another terms for latency. The state of existing but not yet developed or manifest, concealment. Okay? And then the computing delay before a transfer of data begins, following instruction for its transfer. And so that's why I focus so much on content in the Nakhti philosophy, because that is the data transfer. You have to transfer that data from the prime conscious to the conscious mind. Now, in the Nakhti philosophy, we do talk more, it is more similar with the sheaths, where you see the emotional body. You have the motherboard, emotional body, prime conscious mind, and conscious mind. And so it's a little bit different in that sense. But for the sake of just making it for easier for people to understand, all you need to know is that the content that you're going to put in that prime conscious mind is the data that's going to transfer into the conscious, into the reality, that's going to help create that ideal next scene. That's just 3 to 6 months ID Esteem, and as you go further in quantum leaping throughout every ideal next scene through the video game, going into different levels with the brain horns, the controller with the brain horns that I showed you, you'll get to that IPU. You will get to that IPU. So, again, we have the power to create our own IPU through the training of the prime conscious. Auto conscious is really the great way to do that. Auto conscious and prime conscious, kind of different, because auto conscious is more at the God level. But I may do that video on that next. But anyways, when you're programming as prime conscious to affect the conscious reality. Now, how you train that IPU, it does vary from person to person. But pretty much what you need to know that every mind is a universe. In 2022, I published a video. It's not private on my YouTube channel, but if I make it public, like you guys can see, I was in a quantum entanglement session. Okay, I'll just say that. With Kalima, and the first thing she just kept saying, every mind is a universe. And she had been saying it to me since, I would say, for some years. But like that day, in August 2022, like, it had hit me. Every mind is a universe. This is how she would say it. Every mind. And I'm just looking like, okay, what does that mean? And so when we talk about that, how people train their IPUs and create their IPUs, it varies. And so I'll give you some examples of what an IPU looks like. The biggest IPU, biggest ideal parallel universes that we can see on planet Earth, are constructions of taxonomy surrounding belief. And so obviously that's religion. So when you see these huge pantheons that have billions of people following them, like 2 billion Christians, a billion Muslims, billion Hindus, 100 million, what is it? No, I don't think it's 100 million. 4 million Jews, Hebrews. What is it? What's the other religion? With Jainism, Sikhism. All of those are IPUs. They're ideal parallel universes that was started by a founder or a creator. Mahavira was Jainism, right? Guru Nanak was Sikhism. Yeshua with Christianity, but more of a Gnostic. His was way different than like what we see like now. But he created his IPU for sure. He created IPU. How it manifested with Constantine with the Roman Emperor Constantine getting into the picture and doing whatever they did with the bastardized teachings or whatever. That's what they did. But these were people that created an IPU. Egyptian pharaohs, a lot of them created IPUs. If you look at the kingdoms of Egypt throughout the dynasties and throughout the reigns of some of the pharaohs, whether it be Amenhotep the third and Ramses the first, Ramses the second, Ramses the third, all of those kings from the royal bloodline understood how to create an IPU through intergalactic mentalism, reducing latency from the prime conscious to the conscious mind, connecting it to the autoconscious, removing low governing force from resonance, connecting it to their electromagnetism to create their own universe through the mind. And so they understood this very much so. Royal bloodlines use monarch mentalism to push them even farther, and so where they can travel interdimensionally, do quantum entanglement, and get up there to the galactic sense. We're not doing that. I did a video on monarch mentalism, the original version of it for the royal bloodlines. It's called, it's part of the Divine Feminine series. It's called Honeycomb Mind, original monarch mentalism of the Divine Feminine. It's Atlantean teachings. So you can check that out if you want to know more about that. But for now, we're not covering that. We're just covering, for this one, we're just covering the IPU. So the IPU that you see in like various the founders of these religions, these were people that were ascended masters that learned the ability to create their IPU and then be so influential enough in terms of their example of living and their example of thought and belief and even power, convinced other people. Maybe not even, they didn't have to do it consciously. It was just through their example of living, of being. It was convincing enough for other people to want to go live in their IPU, or to create their own IPU. You know, and so that's what that's one example of an IPU is world religions, but mainly the founders who created those IPUs is what you would look at to get to an example of that. Another example of an IPU is actually what Elon Musk is doing, with the X and with SpaceX and with Tesla, Neuralink. He's creating his IPU. We may not agree with it. We may not like that IPU, or we agree with some aspects of it and others we don't. But he's creating his own ideal parallel universe of his own making, world of his own making, certainly. And he's able to influence millions of other people just from his example of being. And people either they're going to live in his IPU or copy or study his method so that they can create their own IPU. So it doesn't have to be in a religious context or spiritual context. I'm just giving you in a business example. But this can happen, this is what that's just an example of what that means. And so for people, like when we talk about like those who come into this realm, to this dimension, what kind of role do they want to play? What kind of video game do they want to play? What kind of game, are they going to program their IPU to take on? What's that persona? What does that look like? That would be up to them. It's as simple as that. Especially on a free will planet, right? And so, when we talk about like the idea of a Messiah, or do we need a Messiah, or is it wrong for people to think that they are a savior? It's not wrong. It doesn't matter whether they think they're a savior or not. Because that's the IPU they want to create. That's the IPU they're going to create. My thing is, be aware. As long as they have self-awareness, they can create any IPU they want. They really can. If they want to come into this dimension and through their brain horns program a reality through like a video game where they are the Messiah, like Yeshua did, that's what the fuck they're gonna do. And so it's not for us to judge whether the position that people take or how they view themselves. Do we need them? Do we need messiahs? Maybe, maybe not. Individually, no. Maybe collectively, no. We have to save ourselves. But there are people that come in different dimensions, and they get off on that. There are people that can literally replenish their electrons at will from connecting to the center of the universe. There is a code, not even the universe, the galaxy. There is a code of how to do that. I'll be teaching that this year, actually, in 2024. I've been given clearance to give out that information to humans, so we'll give out some of the codes for that, so that you guys can start to replenish your electrons at will. So that would be cool for you guys. That's really gonna help accelerate humanity. But for those who can do that, for those that come here, the ascended masters that come here that are able to do that, it's nothing for them to take on a position where they have more to give than others, or they have, or they are willing to help. So what role? If that's the role that they want to play with their game controller and their brain horns, then that's on them. You do have people that have an IPU that are sadistic. That's Bill Gates created an IPU. We see the stuff he's doing with the food, and then the FDA just passed his what is it? What kind of meat do he got? He got a fake. It's some lab grown meat or some shit like that. Some lab grown meat, and then he do with the GMO stuff, and we know what he do with the jibby jab and all this. That he created an IPU of hell. He hates humans. He wants to he wants control and power, and he wants to play the role of God and stuff. And so it's just this that type of sadistic mindset. You got people that are completely on the opposite side of that. Just like you got a motherfucker that just get off on screwing people over and screwing over humanity, and they create an IPU of that. You're going to have the complete opposite of people that come down here that are opposite of that, and they're going to create an IPU where they create a reality in which they are of love, where they probably are saving motherfuckers, or they want to be this savior, just like with Yeshua. Um, that story is not told properly, in its proper context. Um, but a lot of times, I can't even get into that. So a lot of the ascended masters, they go from dimensions to dimensions in teaching. His last trip was in Andromeda, whatever. Come planet Earth. And the thing is, you compare to Andromeda, the children in that constellation compared to Earth. I'm like, what the hell? It's not. I'm not trying to put one over the other, because the best thing we can do is try to catch humanity up. You drop off the information, whatever they do with it is what they gonna do with it. If they ignore it, if it's right in front of them, then you did your part, right? It's like, that's on them. But some of the ascended masters, they get a little gung ho. Some of them haven't mastered mind, the mind behind mind, and so when you're dominated by the mind, you can still get ruled by the ego, and so some of them, they do feel, like, oh my, they have they oh they are the Messiah or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal enough to where other people have to feel like they have to convince them not to do what they're doing, or think the way that they're thinking, or behave the way that they're behaving. That's on them. That's on them. That's if they want to. That's the IPU they want to create. They're going to create that IPU. They're going to create it. It's no dichotomy. Just like you got the motherfucker that's going to create an IPU of exposing. You got people that just love to expose shit. They love to wake stuff up, and they got a conspiracy theory for everything, and they'll create an IPU of where they expose. And then you'll have other people that'll get mad at them and say, you gotta stop, it's not worth it. Be careful, all these fucking humans, be careful, don't say that, they don't say that, but, and it's like, you don't know what kind of IPU that person is creating. Like, it's this one girl, and I don't know if I should, I don't want to be messy like that, but she's really waking up some very powerful information. Her name is Tisa Tells, and she started going deep into, the situation with Jonathan Owe, what happened to him. And she did some amazing research, absolutely amazing research, aligning up with what Cassie put in that disposition. What's it called? A disposition or subpoena, whatever that document was, with what Jonathan Owe was saying 5 years ago, and he's now dead. He just died December 15th, 2023. I would say a couple days after she really did release the research, and it started going kind of viral. And so, if you're looking at all in the comments section of Tisa Tell's video, of those videos, be careful, I'm scared for you, be careful. Oh, you're talking on stuff that's so dangerous, they don't want you talking about that. Oh, I'm scared for you, they're gonna come get you, they're gonna kill you, and she literally said, why are y'all saying it? Like, I don't think people understand, like, not everybody that is cloaked, it maybe look like flesh, is you. So it's like, you got all these weirdo humans just like, oh my gosh, they're gonna kill us, I'm so scared, and I just can't relate. I'm just looking like, and the lady, you can tell, I don't have much, I just found out about it through the video, but you can tell, like, her level of consciousness is so beyond that. Like, so she's like, I have a veil. She said it jokingly, but no, she was dead ass serious when she said, you guys keep telling me to be careful. She said, you really don't care about talking about be careful. She said, I have a veil of the covering. She's a Jesus. But she said it real jokingly and playing or whatever. And I laughed myself because I said, I saw that on her before she even said that. I said, that girl is fine. It's fine, and it's weird, and because humans do that to me too. They would project all of this nonsense onto me. Y'all, they get scared. Oh, don't say too much. Don't do too much. Oh. And it's like, we're creating an IPU. This is an IPU that we're very consciously aware of. I'm very consciously aware of. Why are you projecting all this bullshit onto me? Go, and that's why that saying when Jesus tell Peter, get behind me, Satan, you are concerned with merely worldly concerns and not that of God. when he was talking about God, he's obviously talking about the brain horns, the seat of godliness within the pineal gland. But he's talking about, this is kind of like prophecy. I'm kind of creating an IPU here, like where this is, if I'm ready to go and I know that these societies is after me because I shared this information, and Yeshua knew this, like they about to, the Roman secret societies and the Roman empire after him. Obviously, it was not just Roman secret societies that was after him, but it was other. He done told this intergalactic mentalism from the Atlantean dimension, from the descent of the dragon riders, come down here, told all the humans stuff that was supposed to be secret on planet Earth, and they wanted him out the paint. They wanted him dead. And he knew that. But he wasn't going to stop talking. He wasn't going to stop saying what he was trying to teach the humans real quick before he got the fuck on out of here. And he really, and he can't, people say phantom, resurrection, whatever, and all of that is an esoteric code for, resurrecting in consciousness. But that's what he meant. You create an IPU and then you got people, oh, don't say that, don't do that, don't, be careful. Motherfuckers gonna do what the hell they want to do. They gonna do what they do what they want to do. If somebody wanna come in here, and go take down that exposure role and create an IPU like Julian Assange, or they wanna expose. It's not my IPU necessarily. I know a lot of stuff that I haven't woke up. But that's their role. That's their role. I find it disturbing when people get so concerned with what other people are doing. It's like, I don't know, I don't know well, I kind of know how it came from, but it's like what's hurtful with what happened with humanity is like this concern with control over what someone else do, or what someone else thinks, or what somebody else believes. And I think that's that, a lot of times, even with my readings, I do tarot readings, and I notice like my clients want me to, one of my clients, they want me to make decisions for them. They literally, their life decisions. And I can't, and I'm thinking about dropping her as a client, because I ain't on that wave. I'm not here to think for you. I'm not concerned with telling you what to do, control you, this is what you need. I'm just not concerned with that. I can't relate to it. And she, it'd be small stuff too, like, should I call him, should I text him? Should I, it's not even just asking for advice, like what is the out, because I'm a good psychic. This has been my client for years, so I can see things, that's going to happen before they happen, depending on the person's energy and how well I can connect with their energy, and how well spirit allows that to take place. But for some, like for some people, I can see like really well into them. And so she's one of those people, and and I don't want nobody dependent on me. I'm like, you got to empower yourself so that you can make your own decisions, so that you can start to, just like how you got in spiritual intuitives that can see into other people's stuff. I want to teach humans to do that for themselves, so that they can know, so that they can actually be so in control of their IPU, or they programming that shit before it happens, and they reduce the latency. So they're getting exactly what they want. For one, I'm working on that on myself, but ideally, that's what I would like to see humans be at that level. I don't want, a motherfucker that feel like they just, somebody else got to think for them. And so, well, you have humans that think like that. You got other humans that are concerned with controlling other people, controlling other people's mind, controlling what they do, controlling what they think. Where do y'all get that from? Like, I know the Anunnaki, I know the fallen angels. I don't even did a fucking number on you guys. Like, damn. Whew. In terms of the IPU, and whether or not saviors are necessary, or whether messiahs are going to come, or whether they're going to, they're going to come. Yeah, of course. It's going to be people that program an IPU to do that shit. Long as they haven't let anybody else program on it. Long as it's not a program from someone else, and they gotta, and long as it's serving them, because let's be real, a lot of that shit don't be asteristic. Even at the ascended master level, let's just be real, But as long as it's serving your higher self in a sense, and it's giving you gratification, and it's helping you get to the level you want to get to, and you have awareness of what you're doing, You can create any IPU that you want. You can create the IPU of just minding your business, sitting down and the priestess IPU. You got the priestess IPU. You got all types of IPUs. They're ideal parallel universes based on the mental intergalactic mentalism that you program. That you program from your prime conscious mind to your conscious mind, using your brain horns and using the ideal next scene visualization technique to reduce that latency from the data of transfer that you put in your prime conscious mind to get out of your conscious mind. And you can obviously do that with other techniques such as meditation, ritual, invocation of gods in a transactional sense, to where you offer altar or whatever to manifest things quicker. Whatever. All of those are just techniques to reduce in latency from the prime conscious to the conscious mind. That's all it is. And people create various IPUs. It's a program. My thing is, did you create that program, or did somebody else create it for you? If you're gonna take on that, if you're gonna take on a Messiah or Ascended Master role, did you create that IPU? Did you did you read a book that told you needed to do that? Did your parents put that in your head, or did you deconstruct everything everybody ever told you? Said fuck what everybody ever said, anything that was ever taught to me, and whatever any religion said, whatever any person said, and I'm gonna reconstruct this from scratch. Have your mind ever just completely cracked, where you've got access to everything in the Akashic records and the collective unconscious, and all of your shit just spill out, and you have to put it all back together? It's like a computer crashing, and you got to reboot that bitch. You got to wipe all them programs out, and you got to put new programs in. That's what the mind is, and that's what the Nakhti philosophy is teaching. And so with the IPU thing, what humans have to realize is that everybody's creating their own IPU, their own ideal parallel universe. Self-awareness is key. That is your biggest key to reducing that latency from the prime conscious to the conscious. The transfer of data, the conscious programming of that. But the biggest one is that self-awareness. And even just the idea, long as you know, I can create my own IPU. And through self-awareness. And self-awareness is realizing, okay, what am I going to program my consciousness with? What kind of actions I'm going to take that's going to lead to my IPU? What's my next ideal? What's my next ideal frame? What's my next ideal scene that I want to visualize, that I want to see in the next 3 to 6 months, or even 12 months, or even a year or two? Okay, just like you're going to have demented ass people that create their IPU, like Bill Gates and George fucking Soros and shit. You're going to have people, they'll get off on causing destruction. It's not even in the spiritual realm, when you get into like some of the demented ass entities. They get off on creating destructive ass IPUs. So in tandem, you're gonna have people that get off on healing. You're gonna have people that get off on saving, so healing hands, and I'm the Messiah. Okay? Either mindset does not correlate to being at a specific dimension. It doesn't either way. That the mindsets of both of those dichotomies, right? It doesn't correlate to being at a specific dimension, because these beings can travel between dimensions at will, right? You could have a being that's evil as hell at a 9D dimension, just like the pure beings. Then they can go to 5D, 4D, 3D. So it doesn't matter. They're gods. They can program their IPU. It's not in the creator God, because I know many of you, some people, they still do religion, and they have the, when I say that, we're talking about, just to bring it to the human level. Remember, you are all gods, you're all sons of the Most High. It says this twice in the Bible. And then, in the teachings, that there is a God above God. There's a creator God above the idea of every mind being a universe, of every single entity being a microcosmic expression of the macrocosmic Godhead. And that's why you have when people become enlightened, they say, oh, we're all interconnected, we're all one, we are in love, we all need to, and that's cool. But Free will planet, such as the 3D dimension, is a taxonomy-based planet. The thing is awareness. If you forget that this is a taxonomy, that you come from transcendence to taxonomy in an arbitrary sense, then you're fucked. That's why Earth looks like the hellhole that it looks like now. But if you don't forget that, and you're very aware, I'm spirit and human body, transcendent as fuck, I'm interdimensional as fuck, I'm multidimensional as fuck, I've connected to God, head, I can create my own IPU, I can create my own ideal next scene, I can reduce their latency in my mind, every mind is a universe. Oh, you know that, you good. You good money. You good money. You won't have all the problems you see on this planet Earth if every human in a perfect world knew that. Every human knew I'm a transcendent being. I came here for taxonomy. I came here to create my IPU. I came here to learn about the intergalactic mentalism, to understand contrast. Certain dimensions don't have free will. Certain dimensions you at 852 hertz. You know, you got the kids, they go to magic school. All types of stuff. You know, the Buddha lands, various Buddha lands, and that's why they say so what do you talk about the many mansions? You should talk about my father's house. There are many mansions. Buddha talk about the millions of mansions of Buddha lands. It's a construct in consciousness. It's understanding that interdimensionally, and they were really traveling to those dimensions for sure through consciousness and quantum entanglement, quantum superpositioning. And so a lot of that information has been buried from humans. They don't want people knowing that. They don't want the average human knowing that stuff because, like, say for instance, with, you know, I'll just give my frame of reference is Black Americans as a part of my my cultural upbringing. You know, we know what we had to deal with. If we was on game, and we're gonna get there. We're getting there we getting closer and closer. But if we on game, how Tahuti was with talking about many mansions, traveling to many mansions, traveling to different Buddha lands. Oh, we would have been traveled out of this motherfucking dimension. We would have been bloop. Oh, we don't like this IPU. This IPU is dumb as fuck. They talking about some, you know, stuff with work, wages, and trade, lack of time and location freedom because you gotta work a 9 to 5. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that IPU. Create something different. Boop. Who want to come in my IPU? Let's all go. Let's all create our own IPU. Let's put our collective consciousness together in quantum leap. Bloop. And so this is what they don't want humans to know. This is why they killed Yeshua. let's be real. Yeah. And so, if someone wants to do the Savior Messiah thing in a IPU, long as they aware of that shit, because again, constructs and this idea of dichotomy, or this the idea, if you're doing this, that means you're not there. If you're doing this, you're not that there. Not what I'm realizing is not necessarily. If you think this way, that means you're not there. Yes, there's a such thing as low vibrational shit and things that are indicative of low vibrational. But there are, I know for a fact that there are people that can do 9D shit, that do 3D shit, that go into 3D room. I don't know what that's about. I'm still trying to understand that, but I've seen it, certainly. And so it's not necessarily correlating with a particular dimension. Now, when they had that awareness, and if every human has that awareness, which is what we're going into, humans can decide whether they're gonna follow someone else's IPU or to create their own. Ideally, every human will be creating their own IPU. However, not everybody gonna get there. Not everybody. Some people don't want to do the work. They go live in somebody else's IPU. A good example is that. Is say Elijah Muhammad, Farah Muhammad. They created that IPU of the Nation of Islam. Niggas went to go live in that IPU of the Nation of Islam. That's an IPU. It's the ideal parallel universe. And we're talking about in the video games more of a did I show you guys? Let me make sure I'm sharing it. No, I'm going to share the picture again. I'm going to share this again. Here we go. And I'm talking about in terms of the display of the video game, of what you see. Farah Muhammad put that input, put that program, that prompt conscious mind with that input, and his CPU with his brain horns. With the brain horns, he played that used that controller. to visualize the ideal Nakhti, build it up through his actions, and then the display was Nation of Islam. That was his IPU. And then other people say, I'll go live in that IPU. I'll follow that IPU. You don't have to follow anybody else's IPU. I'm just saying people do it all the time. That's what cults are. People following somebody else's IPU. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if the person is considerably advanced in consciousness, and they're a living example of an IPU, it's gonna magnetize and attract and resonate. It's gonna attract people anyways. And so there really is no, that they don't have to take on any type of a role in terms of like a messiah or a savior. The example itself, that's why it's so captivating. But there are people that purposely, it's a calling on my life to, like Umar Johnson, he likes, to do the work that he does, and he's still creating his IPU with the work, with his vision that he wants to see with the school. There's nothing wrong with wanting to create that IPU. Nothing wrong at all. He's just still working on it. And other people has supported him in building an IPU by giving, whatever it is. That's just an example. But this is just what it is. Then you have the energies of the exposer IPU, and that's why, like, it was a comment that was made, a very brilliant comment about how as we're creating IPUs as humans, sometimes other people would see that IPU and start to try to throw things your way to conflict with your algorithm, or try to break past your firewall. So you have to have that antivirus. And then sometimes your energy is seen as the virus in someone else's IPU. Like right now, we living in 3D Earth, this 5D, 7D, whatever you want to say. Whatever this matrix shit is, this is an IPU. It's somebody else's IPU though, and a lot of us have, it was the IPU of organized religion, of patriarchy, of slavery, technically, still. If you don't have time and location freedom and financial freedom and energy freedom, you're enslaved. I don't care what they tell you. And so many people have to work their 9 to 5 for a corporation and whatnot. They have to do the marketing position, make their $60,000 a year, $40,000, it's $100,000, 60 years, get a mortgage for 30 years, retire at 65, take out Social Security. That's an IPU. That ain't your motherfucking IPU. Somebody told you about to do that shit. That ain't your IPU. And so what we see now is like people being disillusioned with this IPU. Fallen angels put it together. Whoever put this shit together, this IPU is ridiculous. So a lot of people are going to be creating their own IPU consciously. And so what the system is going to do is they're going to start looking at they are like, whoa, there's a lot of perceived. This is what the coronavirus crown chakra awakening coronavirus was about. Like, they were seeing motherfuckers as viruses to the IPU, to the system, pretty much. So they lock you down. You gotta lock down. Can't go outside. Can't talk with family. Can't do nothing. Can't have a Christmas. Can't go shopping. Can't go to school. Everything gotta go online. Come on, spiritual, in a spiritual war. Shit, come on, it's a spiritual war. They was looking at humans and people that was awakening in consciousness. They was looking at your motherfucking ass as the virus to the algorithm. You was causing too much latency in their system. Too much latency, they couldn't pull out their agendas. You caused too much latency. They say you was the virus. And I'm not saying you, obviously, individual. Listen, I'm just saying collectively. It's not right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, like, motherfuckers that have created an IPU of destruction and created an IPU of control and mind control and deception, and, though the idea of people realizing they can create their own IPU, buying out of the system, by doing their own thing. I'm going to create my own IPU of love. I'm going to create my own IPU of exposing the government. I'm going to create my own IPU of, you got Julian Assange and Eric Snowden. I'm going to create my IPU, even if it's unconscious. You got people creating their IPU shit. I'm gonna start my own thing. I ain't gonna work for nobody. I'm going off grid. I'm gonna start my own off grid community. I'm gonna create my IPU where we just go and do it. And all of these are competing algorithms with like, hold up. And so the system say, look, y'all supposed to just be working 9 to 5, debt slave, wage slave, whatever, 9 to 5, and shut up and stop thinking so much. Have your bread and circus, have your entertainment, go drink, go to watch NFL, watch NBA, watch a bunch of reality TV, distract your motherfucking ass. You ain't supposed to be working on no damn awareness. You're not supposed to be working on self-awareness and enlightenment. What y'all doing? What humans doing? Talking about we awakening. No, we awakening the DNA. Remember December 21st when all the black Americans was like, we're gonna awaken and activate our DNA. Many of them motherfuckers did really activate, by the way. Oh, people activated. They didn't tell you. They were smart enough to. I think I was the only idiot in 2022 that. Hey guys. Hey I went to a friend. Talking. Did you find it? We can do this. We can do that. Dude, I was locked up, and within 2 days, and they locked my motherfucking ass up. No phone, no nothing. Watching me every 15 minutes. I was like, do it. Death Ritual, MK Ultra spell. Bloop. We locking your motherfucking ass up. You talking the way you talking. Oh no, y'all niggas ain't waking up. Y'all ain't. No way. We talk about X-Men. And the mutants and the titans and shit. It's humans that really did activate in 2021. Okay, are they even human? Not everybody. They might have flesh, right? They may appear to be human, but some of them are not, human in the way that you think, in terms of coming from like Earth and all this stuff. Like no. But yeah, they was like, oh, hold up, lockdown time. Lockdown, because it's people talking about in all places and all races, all genders, all ages, talking about Nibiru and Hopi prophecies and I feel the energies. I feel 7D. I had a dreams. I'm having and they freaking out because you're creating your IPU, whatever that IPU is. But you're just realizing that you create your own IPU, and it's like, damn, that matrix, satanic, holographic, fake illusion Maya system is not. That spell is wearing off. It's a spell. It's wearing off. So it's like, oh shit, jab time. Yeah, I think we're gonna put some. I think we're gonna do a mRNA. I think we're gonna alter. I think we're gonna do something to kind of. I'm just saying that this is what they was thinking. I think we need to lock their asses down and block the sun out. Right? We're gonna do some reflectors up there. We're gonna do some engineering, solar geoengineering, because it's climate change. We're gonna block that motherfucking sun. Is this how crazy these people are? This is how satanic they are. They are, and they don't understand that there are ascended masters and there are people from different constellations that just get off on healing and saving. No lie. And they got the power and the spirit and the backing to do it. And it's in the integrity and the wisdom to do it, and that's just what they know. And again, when we talk about the higher levels of certain governance of in the galactic sense, there is less free will. There is less free will, believe it or not. Angels got it good. Even some angels at the high levels don't have as much free will. We talk about like at the angel level, the how do I say the lower, the baby level of the angel level of the chaos intelligence realm. Oh, they got it motherfucking good. But then you have those that like the adjutants and those from different that oversee like galactic federations or galactic intelligence agencies. They everything is based on it's a program in a sense, yes, but it's one in which but it's one in which species and sentient beings voluntarily take on. They voluntarily take that on. They do. Just like you have a military. It's the same thing. And imagine, they had a draft down here on Earth where they can force your ass, but or some people, they go into the military because there's benefits. It's the same thing in other dimensions, in other higher levels, in which people would go and take on missions, or they'll go and study, and they'll take on intelligence missions, and they'll go and study other dimensions. What the hell's going on down there? What are they doing to people? Study their methodology, study their methods, their thinking processes, their systems, for report to see, like, okay, what will we do with that planet? What will we do with that dimension? What can be done? And if it is a lot of low governing force from that dimension that's pulling on the rest of the universe, or even the galaxy, but if it's pulling too low, you just get rid of it and recycle it, because energy is never destroyed, so you just recycle it back to the Godhead and destroy it. I don't know if you guys remember this show called The Expanse, or is it Dark Matter? Dark Matter is a really good show too. I think it's The Expanse. I don't know if you guys remember, and there was an episode where they destroyed a whole planet. Like literally the planet, just like, it was like, imagine just a nuclear bomb. There was a whole planet, and they killed millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people. And it was like one person like responsible for making that call, and the other people, they just went along with it and they did it. Now that was obviously kind of in a sadistic sense, since they were at war. But there are beings. I say that as an example because there are beings that can do that with other planets, and those beings' eyes is not anything emotional, or, oh, you killed all those people, oh, you did this to all these people, all this planet, oh my gosh, why did you do that to all those people? Are just transferred into another life form. It's not seen the same as what you guys would see it as. Oh my gosh, like if a being, or if there was a solar further, just like they did with the dinosaurs, they said, oh, you're not the fucking dinosaurs, let's bring them back to another, send their ass to another dimension. If something like that was to happen to planet Earth, and you was just whole 3, 4, or 5D just disappear, like, plop, nuclear bomb, boom, bam, bam, asteroid, comet, whatever. If that was to happen to planet Earth, and it was done, because believe it or not, comets are satellites. They are sentient. When you be in the government, say, oh, it's a satellite, it's an asteroid flying by our planet that's the size of a pickup truck. Oh, it's the size of it's 3 of them surrounding, and they was, remember they said it was an undetected asteroid that came. It was undetected until after it left, and none of our NASA could. It cloaked itself. That was a fucking satellite. I'm like, that's other dimensions version of their satellites. They know you guys still think asteroids, don't understand asteroids and comets and shit, so they be throwing all types of shit your way. And it cloaked itself, and then NASA's like, we couldn't see it, it was undetectable. How come we didn't see it? How come we didn't see it? How we didn't find it? It has sentience. That thing has sentience. And was monitoring your ass just like Saturn's been monitoring your ass. And you fucked that all up, talking about Satan and all this weird shit. Come on. Saturn is is a satellite for this planet. And it's not the way that you guys think. The projections and the misinterpretations of information that has been placed on Mama. She's one of the mothers, okay? She's one of them. And so it wouldn't be viewed the same if like, say, it's the claim is 7 billion people on this planet. If there was something that hit and like boom, the whole planet's gone, and it was at the behest of a council that decided that, a group of gods, or the Godhead, that wouldn't mean anything. Like, the moral turpitudes or the moral values that would be placed on that from the human conception wouldn't mean anything. It just wouldn't to us, because that energy is just being nothing but transferred over. And depending on the state and the state in which that time, I won't say a time loop, but in which that content carried over, whatever state of consciousness it was at on the individual level, would be out obviously reverberate into the next dimension, or your ass just gonna get completely recycled. It depends. At that level, if it's coming from the Creator God, it's not a recycle of where you'll be in like purgatory or some type of torture or nothing like that. Unless people can do that. People can create a torture and hell of their own and a purgatory of their own, and other people can try to, fuck with you. But for the most part, you don't have to deal with that. If something like that was to happen and it was from the Godhead and not, someone else causing it. If it was just like, I'm just saying, if it was a big ass solar CME, solar flare, or big ass asteroid, something like that just knock out the whole thing. Yeah. So we don't want to put people in a box as we expand our consciousness, or even concern ourselves with what the hell other people are doing. They want to go on whatever missions they want to do, create their IPU. If we create our IPU, that's great. That would be an example for others in terms of the guidance and the things that we can teach. And some people create an IPU of being a teacher, of being a master teacher. That's the IPU, as long as they're aware of it, and it's serving them, and it's helping them get to their higher level. And if other people want to learn, they can learn. If they don't, they don't have to learn. As long as they ain't trying to force some shit down people's throat or whatever, that's their business. If people want to create an IPU of fighting other people's IPU because they feel like their IPU is evil, people do that. It's their business. That's their business. It's been a lot of one-sided energy. It's a lot of imbalance. We know that. It's a lot of imbalance where certain people have been able to get away with their fucking IPUs, controlling other people's IPUs for so long. There's so many humans that don't even know that they can create an IPU. They still in a church talking about let me not go there because I don't want to people, but you still got people sitting up there thinking somebody gonna come on. I mean, humans are so behind, and where you got some interdimensional beings that obviously have some sympathy and compassion for that. You got some that don't. I just was showing you earlier how some of the beings how advanced some of the beings from the Andromedan star system is, in terms of the things that they thinking of and the things that they're calculating. And this post that I'm sharing now, it got 23.3 thousand views and only 13 likes and only 13 saves. Now this came from somebody from the Andromedan star system who was talking about how from their magic school system, this is what they learned in terms of having to create nuclear power and how to program a 3D universe. They was giving some calculations out. They gave this information to humans to study. Come on. Crickets. Humans not thinking about that, but you go on the TD Jakes thing, got hundreds of views. I looked at the TD Jakes too, so I'm not judging. I looked at the TD Jakes a post with the viral views. But then you got something like this that's trying to teach you about God particles and universes and how to get 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 12D and all that shit. Crickets. And so that's why a lot of the different species, they just think like you got the right to, you on a free will planet, you got a right to be a dumbass, you got a right to be unenlightened, and it ain't none of the higher order beings right to have to go down there and teach y'all nothing. This is how they feel. Some of them feel. It ain't our problem. We put all the information out there. Anytime we send plenty of people down there, and they still ain't getting it. And granted, yeah, you got the 24-hour psyops, the mind control, and the distractions and all that stuff. But people feel like if other people put their IPU on you, and you are capable of creating your IPU, and you have text, you can go to a library or internet, and you can see that you can create your IPU and start learning, and you don't do it, then other people feel that it ain't our business. That ain't our business. You have a right to even self-destruct. This is how they feel on the free will planet. If you self-destruct, or if the human race can't get it together and humanity self-destructs or do some stupid shit and they take themselves out, you had that right to do it because you on a free will planet. And if you just an unenlightened soul, and that's just your business. That's how other dimensions, that's how other beings think. And it's not even an emotional thing. It's not even about hate or love. They just like, you have that right. You have a right to do that. And then other people, and then some even feel like, well, other people had a right to survive at your expense if you didn't wake up. Da da da. You got other real nasty reptilian species that think all fucked up, and deceptive, and they look this shit. It's me or you. They like that type of thinking. You got that. Then you got some of the higher ones that take on those missions. That's like, no, 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 no. You know, about the love and all that stuff. It depends. It depends. So I think I covered everything I wanted to say like that. And then you got some interdimensional beings. They here literally to take their own back to their planet, and that's it. Their mothership. I had a very powerful dream. You know, I think I'll get into that tomorrow during the tarot reading, because that's going to get into more like what's happening for 2024. I think I want to share that dream tomorrow during the tarot reading for 2024, because that was some wild shit, and I had cried throughout the whole day after that dream. I never had a dream impact me that much. No, I mean I had some, but like that one was like wow, like it just kept bringing tears to my eyes throughout the whole day. The whole day, like I just was getting so emotional because I had never felt nothing that powerful, that real. It felt so real, you know, and we just knew what time it was, you know, and it's like I can't wait to tell y'all that dream tomorrow, because it's gonna get real. It's literally motherfuckers that's about to teleport right off of this bitch. By the dozens, by the hundreds and thousands. Yeah, they're gonna be teleporting. I mean, you're gonna be saying they're dead, or you're thinking they're dead or whatever. And some people that have been like, you know, dying, you know, they could be collateral damage in somebody else's system in IPU. But this is different. Like this type of thing is not because of they took the jab and all. No, this is going to be much different. We're talking about people going back, people by the hundreds of dozens going back to the star systems that they originally came from. That's what's going to be happening soon, and I was like, whoa. But it's going to be one particular group. I can only talk about what from my star system. Other star systems are here, but man, oh man, I'll tell you that dream tomorrow. But yeah, some of y'all gonna be going right back home to where you came from the stars. And that's a good thing, because this earth is just whew. But some of y'all gonna be going right back to many of y'all gonna be going back, man. And the things that y'all gonna see in the sky and stuff, it's gonna be something else. It's gonna be something else. Some of them are coming. They came back to get their people. I told you about the dream I had about the Atlanteans, and how they touched down, and how they swooping up they people and waking up people who came down here to do stuff and activating their stuff. So, but this was there. You got the Andromedians back. It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on in this dimension, you know. And I always would thank the I don't know, we getting spiritual here. We just getting spiritual. She's crazy. We just getting spiritual, but I will always thank the Lemurians and the Pleiadians, because I'm not necessarily from. I have some of their DNA markers, but I'm not like a Lemurian, or I'm not a Pleiadian. That I know. I'm not from the Pleiades star system, right? But they held me down, man, when I was going through it, man. And avians as well. But those Lemurians and them Pleiadians, them some bad. They, you know, just to know that their energy is still that powerful, and they still here, and they still more so ready to come out of hiding. They hid in different dimensions. They were here, you just couldn't see them. But to know that they coming out, just like when they talked about like Japan, 7,000 islands from Japan was discovered this year, and oh, we found the 8 continents. It's 9 continents. Oh, it was always fucking here. You just couldn't see it. It was how you don't see 7,000 islands from Japan? Really? No, that was cloaking technology. Oh, we found a new layer to the ocean. Oh, we found another river. It's a new ass river. Oh, it's a new ass mountain. No, these motherfuckers was hiding that stuff from y'all. And they figured they want to be out more in the open. Why do you think that stuff with Hawaii was about? That was warfare, spiritual warfare, man. And yes, obviously, you know what they talk about, the billionaires and how they're being orchestrated with the land out there in Hawaii. Yes, that's an element of it too, but that's 3D level. These motherfuckers was fighting spiritually. You know, they got them portals over there in Hawaii and Pele and some of them. And I'm not putting any business out. I'm just saying it's out there. The Pleiadians went and hid over there. You know, and these idiots, they think they can come against, they just, you know, anyways, but that stuff that happened out there in Hawaii, how they was doing that to that land out there, yeah, it was orchestrated. It was bombing, burning, all that, but they were trying, they be fighting, they be sending messages, you know, they be trying to fuck with God. I don't know how else to say it. Oh man, because before that, I mean, I remember, you know, that Pele energy is strong. Like people be thinking that, okay, the entities, that's all fake. None of it's fake. That's not this. You could think that. It's fine. Nobody cares about it. If you guys don't think that, you know, you don't want to believe that. It has no bearing. Certainly has no bearing on the nature of egregores and how those things work, or how archetypes of dimensions work. Whether you look at it from a scientific sense or a literal sense, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but that was certainly spiritual warfare out there. And don't think that it was just, oh, the evil. Like, I know that energy, how they made it seem like, because they wanted to make it seem like they just, you know, they wanted you guys to know, like, oh yeah, we purposely starting fires out here, we purposely doing this, they wanted you to think that they just had all this power to do that. These billionaires with all this land, and none of their land was touched. That was all part of it. They wanted you to think that they had a lot of power. I'm telling you, they was getting their ass slapped the fuck up by, in the spiritual realm. They was. By the Pleiadians and by Pele and the indigenous spirits that was over there, the original Hawaiian indigenous. Don't think they just got away with that shit, by no means. Don't think that's why they hide in these motherfucking bunkers. You see all of them, all the bunker talk. These motherfuckers are gonna run in the underground, and they're gonna run. Maybe not this year, maybe not next 6 months, but they will be running for cover by the time this is all said and done. They did not win that war out there in Hawaii. In the 3D realm, you might think they have done. You might think like, oh, they fucked up Hawaii out and people suffered and all that. They had a state of emergency. In the 3D level, you guys might think that, but nah, they did not win that shit. No, they did not, for fucking with them lands out there and them people's sacred lands out there. No way, no way. And I felt that fire. You know, Pele is fire, and I felt that rage from her. I felt it. She had been raging in July. She was rageful in July about Hawaii, Pele the goddess. But when it was going down like that, oh man, I said, oof. The spiritual warfare is real, and I can't wait for humans to start to realize, like, yo, we really have been in a spiritual war our whole fucking lives. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for that moment to hit the rest of the people, so I'm not the only one. I can't wait till that moment hit, you know, so I don't have to be the only one out here thinking of this shit. Yeah. Someone saying there's no sound. Yeah, I can't hear this. Let me see. Because I might have got too deep and they cut it off. Yeah, let me see. Hello? Hello? Okay.